this is not becoming a MGTOW channel, but I do like views. And I think that there is a lot that I don't want to say ideology, but the philosophy of MGTOW has to offer black or urban men in the United States, really all over the world, but in particular, the United States. Because imagine with me, if you will, that the world didn't spring about the moment you were born, and maybe the environment that you come from was manipulated in several ways to, instill within you a mindset that ultimately does little to no good and is rather destructive. And what we're about to witness here in this video, why do black men say dumb stuff like this about black women? Palm emoji. I really hope that I can, illustrate to you how we've been played. Like how we've been run amok and shown just the absolute wrong way. We've confused the wrong way with the right way. So without further ado, let's get into this.
I dated a lot of races. Like I dated black girls, I dated African women, I dated white girls. I pimped the white girl. But
so why you can't date black girls? I mean, why?
I never said that. I said my preference is Spanish women. I would prefer.
Okay, so we have is this Brother Polite? I'm not sure. It sounds like Brother Polite, but it's so dark and the screen is so tiny. I can't tell you if it's him or not, but he's just explaining how, like when it comes to the color thing, and I honestly fall down this rabbit hole. I believe all women are pink on the inside, and it's what's on the inside that counts, okay? But one of the more infuriating things that I see when it comes to quote unquote black men and the relationship between the black man and the black woman is that there's this automatic, hey, even if you don't know her, even if she's a bad person, and this goes both ways. This inclination to stand up for the wrong thing, to defend no matter what. It's to an extent, I don't want to call it an imperative, but it's been instilled in many of us to, hey, you hear any little opinion that you don't like, particularly if it, if it draws to the black woman, well, my goodness, you have to have it's like they're talking about your sister. It's like they're talking about your mother. It's like they're talking about every single black woman that you've ever known and loved. My goodness, how dare you? But in reality, when it comes to what you look for in a mate, to go back to what I was saying when it comes to the environments, particularly the urban environments, the females of these spaces, they themselves have been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but led astray into, what they can and what they can't do. And there's a lot of that quote unquote gender science at play here, where it's like, oh yeah, we're just as tough as the men. And men, and black men in particular, they feed into this when they raise their daughters like sons. A lot of this is stuff that was laid right before us, before many of us even touched down on this earth. Let's continue.
For Spanish women, because
why you prefer Spanish women?
At the end of the day, they take care of theirs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
son.
They take care of theirs. When they with a nigga, they with a nigga. So it's like I could go to.
So what he's getting into here is how, Spanish, I understand what he's saying with they take care of theirs, but I believe that there's some subtext with femininity, because due to generations of quote unquote black women being told, oh my goodness, the black man sucks and it's terrible and he's just out to get you. He's just out to get you. All those, Oprah interviews with Robin Givens and the like, where they're like, oh my goodness, black woman, you have to be strong. You have no other choice but to be strong, because that black man over there, he's gonna treat you like crap. And here's the thing. Here's where it gets fun, because the female, the way we're biologically wired, the way the female is biologically wired is to actually want that piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy that would treat her like crap. And it's not just the black female. It's women in general. Women are wired to be more to want the bad boys, right? You know, alpha smash and beta cash. But in the environments that have been laid out via, things that I talk about all the time, including the drug war, which got rid of a lot of the fathers, as well as, the taking away of many of the manufacturing and production jobs that, fingers crossed, are on their way back. Like that in and of itself was, really much to be able to break the black family back in the 60s, back before we even got here. Many of us even got here. So the world that we are now living in is one that's been manipulated and matriculated into something where, like I said, wrong is confused with right, and the females of these areas are just chock full of testosterone, masculinity, and what they and they have basically been given free reign to run on their feminine whims.
Fuck outside.
Why this bothers your last show, right?
I could go the fuck outside, right? Let me give you some examples. I could go the fuck outside, come back inside. I got something to eat. I ain't even.
So black women can't cook for you.
Black
submissive. That submissive, hey, I care about you, hey, I want to take care of you, that feminine, nurturing and caring angle that many women, really relish in. They really enjoy that role that feminism has taught so many females of the black community that is you could be out there with the boys. And honestly, I don't think that you should be denied from being out there with the boys. But as far as via our media and via policy and legislation, we should be gearing you more towards your more biological imperatives. But after generations of that not taking place, what do you think happens?
Women could cook, but it's like,
oh man,
they gonna ask you like, you want to eat?
I'm not involved in this one. Who asked you if you want to eat? Spanish girls?
You hear him, right? And here's the two simps over here, and you hear the other one. He's just like, man, I'm not involved with this one, man, because like, yo, bro, you sitting here talking about my queens, man, my queens, and y'all niggas sound so dumb. Like, y'all really do. Because it's just like, look, if a woman, like I said, they're all pink on the inside, but I believe every individual should aim to be loved in the way that they wish to be loved. And color really doesn't have much say or sway as into how you're going to love that individual. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that there are tons of very feminine black women out there. I'm the product of one. But like as far as culturally, particularly from, more of these urban centers, and to tie this in with men going their own way, right? With the MGTOW movement, many of these men are from that, hey girl, you don't need no man era of the 80s and 90s, where it was like, yeah, we can raise these kids, or we can raise these boys all on their own. I can teach them how to be a man and all this other stuff. That has these men confused, has these men not really knowing how to, encounter opposition, if that's a good way to put it. They, like, you hear him right, man, it's an automatic shutdown of any opinion that differs from his own. So when I say, own way, there's a level of freedom of thought that goes along with this philosophy that, encourages men to improve themselves, look for their own, path in life that doesn't particularly revolve around a vagina.
You try to say Spanish girls are quicker to feed you than black women?
Black woman is going to ask you, do you want to eat? A Spanish girl going to have to plate with you like, here's the food. That's what I'm trying to tell you, my man. I'm just saying, like, you're close.
So he's basically, it's just like, yo, like, you don't have to ask, or you don't, or she isn't going to bother to ask, because you're pretty hungry. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys are paying attention during this whole shebang that's taking place, but there's plenty of free meals that everybody's hopping up on and taking. Why? Because, yo, it's a natural thing. So why you even got to ask? Get your ass in the kitchen. But That's get in the it's nothing but an argument. It really in many cases, hashtag not all, right?
It's gonna be done. You're gonna have fucking your clothes is gonna be fucking done. Your food gonna be ready. You ain't gonna have to worry about no bullshit. Cause they gonna listen to what the fuck you telling them.
Submission. To an extent. You know, I mean, like, it's very prevalent, like, even going through, like, the hood and stuff. Go to a bodega and see that mommy working back there. And it's just a million times more feminine than the other females running around and screaming, what the fuck? It's very uncouth, but they have no problem with that because the media over the past, 3-4 generations has been telling them that they can do absolutely no wrong. The laws have been backing them up, the Duluth model and the like, and everything, and the welfare state has been here to protect them, to rock with them. I mean, many of these government jobs that females get, they're nothing more than paper pushing bullshit, but they get paid a decent amount of money to do them so they can, just basically spend that money, because ultimately that's really the huge drawback of capitalism is like, yo, we definitely need bras out here spending that bread. Now, why do you think the divorce and alimony is set up as it is? Think about it.
And that's it.
Wait, time out.
You ain't gotta wake up with no fucking...
Time out. Repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just said.
I said your food gonna be...
You hear him, right? Getting more angry and more upset and dipping into his emotions as opposed to coming from it from a logical space. See, this is more about these two gentlemen than it is... I really want to call this guy Brother Polite because he sounds like him. I don't know. I might toss it in the title just because that's a pretty... that gets quite a few hits on this channel.
Ready.
Why you prefer Spanish girls?
Listen to me, Queen Flip.
Listen, don't call my name. You are black. You blacker than she.
And that's not an excuse. Let me tell you guys something. Before, I'd say it on the channel all the time, man. I identify as awesome. I think that completely, circumvents my blackness. But and one of the more frustrating things I hear so much is, oh, well, as a black man, as a woman, as a child, like, bruh, stop, cut it out. Because the question that you should ask yourself before what a black man is doing is, what would a good man do? What would an honorable man do? What would a man of integrity and respect do? And I can guarantee you the options are kind of losers, but integrity and respect, dignity, pride. That's not what we're about to witness.
In that, but you can't tell a nigga what to prefer. All right.
So you said Spanish girls are better than black girls?
Yes, I'm saying that. I'm jacking what I'm jacking. So your food gonna be ready. Your clothes gonna be done.
You heard him, right? Just really quickly. Did you? Oh, so you're saying he's like, yes, he put it out there. I respect that. He's like, yes, they are better. It is what it is. That's his opinion. And the one thing that should never get you under your skin or get under your skin is another man's opinion. It really shouldn't mean jack shit to you. Hey, that's what he like. That's what he like. I ain't gonna sit here and schmeat police this dude. That's not my position. Like, yo, if that's what you want, my God, that's what you want. That's why the own way part of the philosophy is just, I think it's really applicable to the urban, quote unquote, black male experience.
Ain't gonna argue. You ain't gotta wake up to no fucking do-rag or your clip smoked. So
that's damn. Oh, shut up, man.
You see this, right? Like, he sits there and flings the thing at him because he has absolutely no control of his emotions. And I think that in and of itself is more than enough to, give the ideology a good view over, a good, thinking about. Because you have absolutely no control over your emotions, and you sit there and let what this man, what this other complete, it has nothing to do with you and your junk, right? But because, McQueen's, you're gonna sit there and basically, assault the guy, physically come at my man.
Yo, you dead ass? No? Shut up, man. Yo.
Honestly, can you blame him? Can you blame him? He's like, yo, he's like, word, dead ass, bet. Let's go. This is not even a hesitation. Yo, respect. But now the other person that made this video, because I am definitely incepting this video, they're about to get on and explain like, oh, why do black men see dumb stuff like this about black women? Guys, well, I'd like to think that I've answered that question, because ultimately or many of us, not all of us. I mean, then again, because America is very gynocentric. America has become very focused on the feminine as opposed to that equilibrium or that balance that we claim to be about so much. But the reason this entire thing jumped off the way that it did was because, you know, there's no self-control. There's no there's no looking for the logic and looking at the rationale, like, or listening to his rationale and not taking it to an emotional place. That's nonsense. It really is. As men, we can and really should be better. We should always strive to be better. Can't sit there and swing at another man because of what he decided to do with his schmeat. That is one of the most like, yo. And you wonder why the alphabetical thing is so heavy in the quote-unquote black community, man. Miss me, bruh. So, with that being said, let's bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like to talk, so like this, like, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring, and YouTube and BitChute like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? Like I said, the ideology in and of itself can be a fantastic thing for the black community, because it does harken back to the fact that, hey, we as men, we should be goal-oriented, mission-focused. You know, find, like Dr. Peterson says, find that biggest rock and move it. You know, find the biggest problem and do whatever you can about it. And so, you know, that problem is so rarely going to turn out to be a woman when you realize that that's not her place. Like, and whether you like it or not, there is a natural order to these things, guys. There's a reason that the building blocks and the foundation for society that as we know it were laid here before us. But I do believe it needs quite a bit of tweaking. Disagree? Well, that's what I have a comment section for. And until the next one.